On a crisp Belfast morning, the largest ship of its time rose from steel and steam. The Titanic was the crown jewel of the White Star Line, conceived for comfort and scale rather than pure speed. Behind that ambition were engineers, financiers, and shipbuilders who believed luxury and modern engineering could be combined on a scale never seen before. Yet many decisions that shaped Titanic were compromises between cost, aesthetics, and the limits of contemporary technology. Those compromises would prove crucial in the months and years that followed. Harland and Wolff in Belfast built Titanic side by side with her sister ship. Detailed drawings and thousands of rivets brought steel plates together. The ship's design prioritized elegance: grand staircases, heated baths, dining salons, and first-class promenades. The engineering team introduced 20 watertight bulkheads and a double bottom. At the time, these features were considered state-of-the-art and were even marketed as guaranteeing safety. But the bulkheads did not extend high enough to make her truly unsinkable in every possible scenario. Innovations aboard included a modern Marconi wireless room, electric lighting, and advanced steam propulsion. The wireless telegraph allowed messages across the Atlantic and was used for passenger traffic and ice warnings. Despite technological forward steps, operational practice lagged behind. Wireless operators were primarily focused on commercial traffic, with less emphasis on safety protocols. The result was a mix of cutting-edge equipment and human choices that would shape how events unfolded once the ship left port. A critical issue was lifeboat provision. Titanic carried 16 lifeboat davits and 4 emergency cutters, enough for 1,178 people, while the ship's maximum capacity exceeded 3,300. Regulations of the era were outdated, using tonnage rather than actual passenger counts to mandate lifeboats. White Star Line complied with regulations and even exceeded them, yet the numbers would later be judged tragically insufficient. Understanding why the ship carried so few lifeboats requires a look at maritime law, commercial pressures, and passenger expectations of the early 1900s. Sea trials and the ship's launch were moments of public pride. Newspapers praised the scale and luxury, comparing Titanic to floating palaces. Investors and the public saw an icon of progress. But within shipyards and offices, engineers continued to debate structural vulnerabilities and maintenance routines. These quieter technical conversations often never reached the press. Those contrasts between public confidence and private concern reveal how framing and perception can shape disaster preparedness long before a voyage begins. On April 10, 1912, Titanic departed Southampton bound for New York, picking up passengers at Cherbourg and Queenstown. Her population was a striking cross-section of Edwardian society: wealthy industrialists and society figures in first class, middle-class travelers in second, and thousands of emigrants in steerage hoping for a new life in America. This voyage was a microcosm of the era's social hierarchy. Those class divisions would influence everything from cabin assignments to access to deck spaces and, ultimately, lifeboat loading procedures. Among the notable passengers were John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidore and Ida Strauss, and Margaret (Molly) Brown. Their stories became emblematic of the tragedy, some who stayed with partners, others who sought survival. But beyond the famous names were countless lesser-known individuals whose lives and choices provide a fuller picture. Letters, ticket records, and testimonies preserved in archives reveal personal hopes, fears, and small moments that animate the larger historical narrative. Class governed access to the ship's amenities. First-class passengers enjoyed opulent dining salons, a Turkish bath, and a gymnasium. Second class offered respectable comfort, while steerage passengers lived in crowded dormitories below decks with limited access to open air. These physical separations had practical consequences on the night of the sinking. Information flow, ability to reach deck, and even routes to lifeboats were affected. Social structure, therefore, played a tragic role in who had the quickest path to safety. Daily life on board followed a rhythm of meals, promenades, and entertainment. Crew members worked behind the scenes to make life comfortable. Cooks, stewards, engineers, and wireless operators each had vital roles. The ship's logistics were complex. Coal-fired boilers consumed vast quantities of fuel and stokers labored deep within the ship's belly. That physical labor created a world out of sight from many passengers, yet crucial to the vessel's operation and survival when systems faced stress during the disaster. In the days before April 14th, multiple ice warnings were transmitted to Titanic. Other ships reported fields of ice and even growlers, smaller pieces dangerous in darkness. The wireless operators forwarded many of these messages to the bridge, but the bridge's interpretation varied. Contemporary understanding of ice dangers emphasized steering clear but not constant radar-like vigilance, and ships commonly steamed at high speed when conditions seemed clear. This accepted maritime practice would be scrutinized after the disaster. Wireless communication on Titanic was a new lifeline but also a commercial tool. Operators like Jack Phillips and Harold Bride relayed passenger messages, news, and ice warnings. On the night of April 14th, these operators worked late sending and receiving press and personal traffic. Their workload and the commercial priorities that guided some message handling influenced how quickly urgent warnings were recognized and escalated. The interplay of technology, staffing, and protocol is a key hidden fact in the chain of events. Shortly before midnight on April 14th, lookouts spotted an iceberg ahead. Conditions were moonless with a calm sea that made icebergs harder to see. Lookouts reported the object to the bridge, and the helm turned hard to port while engines were reversed. Despite these actions, the starboard side of the hull grazed the iceberg. Accounts vary on speed and distance, but the essential fact remains. The hull was breached along multiple compartments in a way shipbuilders had not fully anticipated. For many years, popular descriptions suggested a single massive gash. Modern forensic analysis and wreck surveys show multiple small tears and detached rivets along seams allowing progressive flooding. When forward compartments filled, water spilled over the bulkheads and the bow began to settle. The ship's structural behavior under flooding revealed a complex cascade, progressive failure rather than a single catastrophic breach. This reassessment comes from metallurgical studies, dive data, and contemporary survivor testimony. Immediate assessment by officers indicated the ship could stay afloat for hours, but calculations underestimated the rate of progressive flooding. Chief Officer Henry Wild and others debated shore assistance and speed decisions as water moved aft. Reports from the time recorded calm professionalism amid confusion, crew attempting to seal portholes, men relaying messages and preparing lifeboats. Those actions were life-saving for some, but the combination of structural design, sea conditions, and human choices shaped an outcome no single action could have fully prevented. Lifeboat deployment began under instruction to prepare for evacuation, but loading protocols emphasized women and children first, with differing interpretations among officers. Several lifeboats left half full because of a mix of fear, disbelief, and lack of clear evacuation training for the crew. Drill routines before departure were minimal and inadequate to handle a fast-moving crisis. The gap between expectation and reality in evacuation readiness is a central and underexamined factor in the tragedy. Distress signals were sent using both wireless telegraphy and visual signals. Titanic's wireless calls reached the RMS Carpathia, which steamed through the night to assist. But a nearby ship, the SS Californian, is often cited in controversy for not responding to rockets and signals. The truth is nuanced. Californian's crew reported being hampered by being stopped in ice and confused by differing signal interpretations. These conflicting testimonies would fuel public debate and inquiries in the weeks that followed. Animated diagrams later reconstructed how flooding changed the ship's center of gravity, causing the bow to sink as the stern rose. Metallurgists and naval architects combined measurements from the wreck with period documents to simulate the breakup sequence. The evidence suggests that once stress exceeded structural limits near the midship, the ship parted. Wreck imagery confirms distinct separation points consistent with those simulations. This blend of archival record, expert modeling, and deep-sea imaging has reshaped our understanding of the physical reality of Titanic's loss. A precise timeline helps clarify confusion. The collision occurred around 11:40 p.m. on April 14th. By 12:25 a.m. lifeboats were being launched in earnest. The bow settled as water rose, and by approximately 2:18 a.m. the lights went out and the ship began to break apart. Carpathia arrived at dawn to pick up survivors scattered across icy water and lifeboats. Timelines from inquiries, survivor testimony, and wireless logs provide a coherent sequence that counters many mythic retellings. Technical analysis explains why the stern rose and the ship eventually broke in two. As forward compartments flooded, the weight distribution created an extreme bow-down angle. The hull experienced bending stresses beyond its design tolerance. Expert reconstructions show that when the stern rose, structural failure near the midsection became likely, leading to a rapid separation and final plunge. These mechanical explanations are informed by modern engineering studies, dive images, and physical evidence collected from the wreck site. Survivor accounts vary from heroic rescue to quiet despair. Many recall the bitter cold, the sound of the ship's band playing, and the eerie calm of the freezing sea. Some survivors describe small acts of kindness, strangers sharing coats, crew members prioritizing women and children, and passengers rowing for hours. Oral histories, interviews, and memoirs preserved in archives provide vivid eyewitness detail. These first-person voices are essential to humanize events beyond technical reconstruction and to preserve nuance in how memory shapes historical record. Heroism and controversy emerged in the aftermath. Some officers were praised for calm leadership while others faced criticism for allegedly slow lifeboat loading or signaling confusion. Captain Smith commanded respect but would not survive. Some crew members stayed at their posts, while other accounts describe panic and disorder in certain areas. These varied human reactions produced legal and moral debates in public inquiries. The truth requires acknowledging courage, failure, and the messy reality of crisis behavior under extreme stress. Many popular myths sprang from the disaster and persist today. One persistent claim is that cold steel and brittle rivets caused the breakup. While poor quality rivets played a role, modern studies show a more complex picture involving design stress and progressive flooding. Another myth claims the iceberg was especially large. In reality, several medium-sized bergs and growlers were common in the shipping lane. Debunking these myths requires combining metallurgical tests, eyewitness accounts, and oceanographic data to reconstruct a fact-based narrative. The night left survivors scattered across lifeboats for hours in freezing temperatures. Hypothermia and exposure claimed lives in the water. Rescuers pulled survivors into Carpathia and provided blankets, hot drinks, and medical attention, but many were already lost. Medical logs and contemporary hospital records document the physical toll. These mundane yet crucial medical details underscore the reality of survival limits in sub-zero Atlantic waters and how rescue timing fundamentally determined life or death. Inquiries in Britain and the United States examined causes and responsibility. Testimony from officers, crew, and survivors painted differing pictures of decision-making and preparedness. The British Wreck Commissioner and the U.S. Senate hearing gathered evidence on lifeboat regulations, wireless practices, and the actions of rival ships. Their findings criticized inadequate lifeboat provisions and called for maritime reform. These formal investigations were crucial in translating tragedy into regulatory change and public memory. One direct outcome was the creation of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SALAS, which mandated sufficient lifeboats for all aboard, continuous wireless watch, and standardized safety drills. The International Ice Patrol was established to monitor dangers in the North Atlantic. These institutional changes dramatically improved maritime safety and are a living legacy of the Titanic's loss, transforming policy across national lines and making future ocean travel safer for millions. The wreck's discovery in 1985 by Robert Ballard opened a new chapter. Deep-sea exploration revealed the ship's split configuration and allowed scientists to sample materials and map debris fields. ROV footage documented plate failures, coal bunker collapses, and artifacts scattered across the seabed. These observations reinforced and refined theories about how the ship sank. The wreck also raised ethical questions about salvage, preservation, and the ocean as a grave site, fueling debate that continues today. Titanic's cultural impact is vast. Books, Films, exhibitions, and songs keep the story alive, often blending fact and fiction. From early newsreels to modern blockbusters, the tragedy served as a canvas for changing social anxieties about technology, class, and hubris. Memorials around the world honor the lost and keep personal memories vivid in descendants' families. Understanding how culture reframes historical events helps explain why certain myths persist and why factual clarity matters for both scholarship and memory. Yet mysteries remain. Questions about specific crew actions, the exact sequence of metal failures, and how decisions in the bridge room were interpreted persist in academic and amateur circles. New technologies like high-resolution sonar, advanced metallurgical testing, and archival digitization continue to reveal details. Each new piece of data refines the story without changing the human loss at its core. The search for understanding is as much about honoring those lost as it is about scientific curiosity. For those who wish to learn more, primary sources offer depth. Inquiry transcripts from the British and US hearings, wireless logs, and survivor memoirs. Recommended readings include official inquiry reports and scholarly works that synthesize forensic studies with personal testimony. Museums and reputable online archives provide verified photographs and documents. The Titanic story remains compelling because it blends human drama with technological history, an urgent reminder that design, policy, and human judgment together determine safety at sea.